So, what were LeBron and Nikola Jokic's agent doing in the Mediterranean together? We're going to talk about that more here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Happy Monday, folks. For those that are tuning in on the audio side of things, for those that are catching us in the morning, we always record on Sunday nights, Wednesday nights for myself and Matt Moore. He at HP Basketball, the Hardware Paroxysm Substack, and the Denver Dig. I am over at Mile High Sports, as well as for the Pickaxe and
What's
Roll
your
podcast.
name?
I'm Ryan Blackburn. They can see it. They know me. They know who I am. Hey, I've done enough clickbait titles now to fully understand. Hey, when you see a clickbait title, you know it's Ryan and Matt coming in with Conspiracy Corner. But we're here and we're excited and we're going to talk about it. It's a little bit of an interesting way to kick off the week. Obviously, everybody's very curious as to what LeBron James is going to do over the course of this next year, I would say. He has been extremely cryptic, Matt, in terms of what his actual plans are. And I didn't think that we would be talking about it too much until, hey, lo and behold, Misko Raznatovic, Nikola Jokic's agent, posts a picture of him, LeBron James, and Maverick Carter just chopping it up middle of the Mediterranean on a boat. And the caption of it was very interesting. It was effectively along the lines of, really excited. All the plans that are made in summer 2025 to put out there in fall of 2026. Weird choice of dates. Interesting choice of to add context like that. Matt, when you saw this, what was your first reaction?
I rolled my eyes because I just if you want to get excited about it because it's fun, I'm not going to begrudge you for that. Not you, the general you. I think it's fine to do this. There are wild things that occur. I just have a hard time making it all make sense from that perspective. Now, look, we did a whole show about why LeBron would make sense here before the Nuggets made the moves that they did. Now I think it's a little bit more complicated, obviously, with him opting into the $52.1 million team option or player option for next season. So I don't think it's going to happen immediately. And obviously the dates are kind of interesting. Working with the agent is obviously interesting. And I'm just curious as to what that means and whether that who's expanding into what. It was taken, by the way, in Saint Tropez. I don't know how to Saint Tropez. I don't know what the French pronunciation is in France in the Mediterranean.
Oh.
So that is their Savannah's. It's interesting to see who else is in the photos, right? It's just interesting to kind of look at the whole picture of it and who's been present and who's not. So I think it's just kind of interesting. Maverick Carter also in this, right? Maverick is part of. So before LeBron was with Clutch, I'll give you a little history lesson. Yeah. For those of you that are younger, before LeBron was with Clutch, so Clutch formed when he met Rich Paul, and Rich Paul became his agent. LeBron's crew, he was represented by CAA, Leon Rose, who now runs the Knicks. And LRMR was his personal branding group, and it was made up of LeBron and Maverick Carter and two other individuals, one of which is still a prominent figure within the Cavaliers organization. So Mav is that's his guy. That's always been his guy. And he's at the crux of most of what they do. So I do think it's kind of interesting to look at what's going on there. I don't have so I asked the internet, I was like, what happens in St. Tropez? I, again, don't know how to pronounce this. And saying, I'm going to do it here. I'll do my Arkansas on it. What happens in St. Tropez this time of year? July is prime time for the global elite, celebrities, athletes, and business moguls to visit.
Oh.
So this is a very popular time. Club 55, Nikki Beach, lavish daytime parties, designer pop-ups, and art galleries. There's yachting events like the Rolex Cup earlier in the summer. July features warm-ups for the Les Voiles de Saint-Tropez. Private yacht charters.
Love that one.
Private yacht charters are at capacity. So, and vineyards are in full swing as well. So,
you think they just met up with each other out there? You think they just crossed paths and were like, hey?
No, I think it's probably like, I think that there was probably like they're out there amongst the elites, and then they're probably working on something.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it unlikely that this is a basketball centric oriented kind of thing.
Well, it's possible. Like we're going to do the expansion conversation next segment, but it is possible that there is some NBA Europe stuff that is going on. And you want to, like, I know LeBron and his camp have also been very, very like emphatic about the idea of both expansion and where he has been very in on the idea of Vegas or Seattle or any of these teams, or any of these locations for his own personal ownership stake. But more than that, NBA Europe, and I've heard about this. I heard about it a few months ago. It seems like that is like something that they are very, very like emphasizing. Like they're trying to do this. They're trying to get overseas. They are trying to incorporate more of Europe into the actual NBA ethos in ways that they can. You're muted.
Cash the minus 1,000. So do you want... Here's a fun one. Who took the photo?
Savannah?
What if it's Josh Kroenke?
So that's the other fun thing, is that the entire reason why LeBron James to Denver was ever even a thought was because of a video of Josh Kroenke jumping off of a boat with LeBron James back in like 2014 or somewhere, like, and he was like, "Go get it, Josh." And then Josh flips off of the boat or something, and they're partying out there. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all. Would it surprise you in any way, shape, or form that Josh just is out there? Like you talked about the relative elites in the conversation in July, like that could absolutely be a spot.
Yeah, I mean, I would bet that he's out there, right? I think that's like an interesting question. By the way, it wasn't just him jumping off the boat. They've been friends for a long time.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
And it was really weird during the mid 2010s. You would actually like there's a, for those that are unfamiliar with the Nuggets underground layout, the tunnels beneath the arena, you've got like, there's a T section that goes from the media room to the locker room to the visitor locker room back to the arena, and there's like a intersection there. Well, like I got hung up several times over the years by there being like stoppage of security because LeBron and Josh were just sitting there talking, like just hanging out, and I was like, "Hey guys, I don't actually care what rich things you're talking about. I just want to go home.
I just like to walk through, please.
I just like to get through." So I think it's an interesting question. I think of those type of things. Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
When was this? July 21st, 2020. Are you kidding me?
2020 what?
5.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Oh, my God. July 10th, 2025. I actually was on my way here to Saint-Tropez, and I'm here trying to enjoy my time before I head back to Denver and head back to work.
That's from Josh?
This is talking about the MPJ deal. Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so
but he was there earlier. Does somebody do people like him really vacation in the same place twice?
I mean, if you're a rich person, like why would you ever hit up the same place multiple times? Like if you can go anywhere, like why would you ever go back? Like I don't even wear the same suit twice, Matt. Like it's crazy. So
I need to get what I'm learning about this is I need to get a source in Saint-Tropez. That's
the one. Like, hey, if so many people are going to be hanging out there, then Might as well.
I'm seeing different suggestions on pronunciation. It seems like Saint-Tropez is probably it's like a soft S.
Oh.
It's not Saint-Tropez, and it's not Saint-Tropez. It's like Saint-Tropez. It's like there's a very soft S on it.
I think this is one of those where we're just clearly not rich enough to know the pronunciation. No.
I'm not rich. I'm actually not rich enough to pronounce it. You have to have a certain net worth in order to be able to pronounce it correctly. Otherwise, it comes out Saint-Tropez.
Saint-Tropez, Arkansas, man.
Saint-Tropez. Down there by Possum Trot.
Oh man. Okay. Well, is anything gonna come out of this from like do you plan to see anything in the fall of 2026?
I don't know what it'd be. Is he gonna finish his career Joker may not be here.
Is Joker going to LA?
Yeah.
Didn't sign the extension.
Yep. That's true.
What if it's a what if it's a 1-for-1 swap, Jokic and LeBron? They're trying to get LeBron a place where he could just finish out the career that's relatively close to where his family is, but doesn't want to be in LA, and then LA is just trying to set up for the future.
I do not understand what this is about.
Yeah, well, who knows? We will. I'm just going to assume that LeBron is signing here for the mid-level exception. Maybe it's a sign and trade. We'll let the nerds come up with the particulars. When we come back, we're going to talk about NBA expansion. I'm a part of that conversation.
Yeah,
the nerds like way over there. Yeah, that's fine. When we come back, we're going to talk about NBA expansion here on Locked On Nuggets. All right, we're going to talk about 5 Hour Energy, folks. A new sponsor here. Time to fuel up. Turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest. Some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Wildest shot, like what's the wildest shot that you've ever made? I think it was probably for me, like par 4, I flew the green and then came back and chipped in for eagle. It was one of my best things. I never hit the ball very far, but par 4 wise, I was able to get it done. Took a massive, massive risk, but it paid off. Well calculated. Golf, it's all about the good times with good people and good flavors. Of course, the grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse to go to without chasing down the Bev card. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf to receive 20% off your first order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. We'll be right back here on Locked On Nuggets. And we're back. Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, folks. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for indulging our conspiracy corner. Now let's get into some basketball talk. Obviously, the long offseason, and during the offseason, during the summer league portion of it, Matt, Adam Silver was asked about NBA expansion, said that there were some holdups, said that there were some things that like they weren't necessarily, like this wasn't an imminent thing. Like expansion is still something that they had to work out a few things, work out a few factors. I think there's a lot of folks in the NBA that seem to believe that one of those factors is James Dolan and a variety of owners that do not want to do revenue sharing. Is that your kind of perspective as well, based off of what you have heard? Is there something else that we are not thinking about when it comes to expansion? Because it feels like Seattle and Vegas would be pretty easy opportunities for expansion.
Yeah, I think that there's probably a lot of this that is just tied to the media deal is so lucrative. I think that the other owners want to time it so that they get the lion's share of this media deal and then get the fees for the expansion teams without giving them the media rights fees. So let's say the media deal is like what, 10 years?
I was just going to ask you. I thought it was either 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think there's an opt-out after 9.
Yeah.
If you wait 5 years and then tell them they can't get the media money for another 4, you get that money and the fees. And given that we've seen Glenn Taylor, Mark Cuban, Whit Grosbeck, and Jeannie Buss all cash out in the last 18 months, that's insane.
Yeah.
And like, look, new owners come and like ownership comes and goes, but like I have a little bit of what do they know with some of this. It does seem like there's movement amongst some of the very established NBA ownership groups in terms of, we bought this at a low value. We've turned a whatever it was, like sometimes this is like as much as like 90 million into like a $7 billion business. And we can get, and now we're going to get out at the peak. I just kind of assume the expansion stuff is driven by ownership concerns over money. To me, that is like the most likely outcome here. I think the European stuff is always going to be not a pipe dream, but I just think it's going to be something that's like very slow to develop. And I don't know that there's ever going to be like, I think Silver wants that to be his legacy. And I'm not sure there's ever going to be enough momentum from the owners don't want to pay for a legit G League. The owners don't want to pay for they've just now gotten 30 teams in the G League and they still don't have a robust system. The salaries still aren't competitive.
Yeah.
They're still haggling with the WNBA. Owners are still being jackasses over the WNBA CBA negotiations. Like the owners are very slow to move. And I think that's kind of the thing here is now what's best for the game, I think is a different question. I will say, as I like the idea of expansion just because I'm like, ooh, more teams, neat, cool. I don't know that we have enough talent to support it. I just don't know that we have enough talent to support it.
I think we feel different, and there's a lot of people that feel like this is a very talented era of the NBA where expanding to 32 teams or whatever wouldn't necessarily dilute things that much. Do you feel differently than that?
I do a little bit. Who's the best player on the Washington Wizards?
Your favorite team, the Washington Wizards? Mm-hmm. It's probably Chris Middleton until proven otherwise.
Right. And like amongst the young guys, it's like Alexander Sarr, number 2 pick overall.
Yeah, but you have those teams all the time, and it's not like they didn't have them before.
Well, no. Well, that's my point though, is like we haven't moved past that. Like you have to, in order for this to feel like it's not a dilution, we have to feel like it's like the talent is overflowing. And one of my problems is that the NBA, in order for you to be competitive, you have to have a number 1 guy. And there's quite a few teams who do not have a number 1 guy. I don't know if Charlotte has a number 1 guy. I don't know if LaMelo is that guy. I don't know. Might be, but I don't know.
I think you're being pretty restrictive in terms of who certain number 1 guys are in the NBA context. I think that there's a lot of people that feel like hypothetically, if Jamal Murray were to get his own team, that he could expand his game and be averaging like 24, 6 and 6 or something like that.
But that doesn't translate to competitiveness, right?
Yeah.
Like
I don't disagree with that.
Poole, like Jordan Poole can put up numbers, right? I'm not comparing Jamal to Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
But I am saying that like I think the parity right now is in a pretty good place. Now, like the benefit of this is we send 2 West teams east. And now
it'd just be one for what it's worth.
Do what?
It would just be one for what it's worth. Like you go from 15 to 17 in the West and then take one of those West teams to the East.
Fair. You send one team to the West.
Yeah.
Right. Or to the East. Instantly, that team, that the Eastern Conference adds another serious team, whether it's Minnesota. I mean, that's questions like if New Orleans, and then there's separate questions about New Orleans, which Bill Simmons has kind of
he's been on that. That was a very interesting conversation. So could it be Memphis? Could it be Minnesota? For me, like it would make most sense if it was Minnesota, and there's so many teams in that central area that they would be right around.
It's interesting. This is like a fascinating problem, I think. The NBA has a real problem with the Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
They have a real, and it's always been a problem. They can't get, and it's crazy because like the Hawks are an iconic franchise, even though they haven't won anything. Like everyone knows the Hawks, and they had Neek, right? And that should be such a good team, and it never is, right? And you had NBA champions in Miami, and you had contenders in Orlando several times, but like that region has never really been able to bring it up. I do think if you add Memphis to the Southeastern group, it probably validates that, like it creates a much better rivalry system down there. But the college football factor, I just think is so strong. It's an issue, which is funny because it's like, they're never going to like it. It's college football. And I'm like, Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah. There's football programs everywhere at this point. Like,
well, no, it is different. Like there's football programs.
Yeah. I mean, Big Ten Southeast is that's the bread and butter at this point. But like Oklahoma doesn't really like, Oklahoma's always been like, top 5, never top 3 kind of conversation.
No, I mean they had back in the 90s they had the streak of a lot of championships, and they've been in championship contention. Like it's a way of life there for sure. But even then, like Oklahoma City just kind of embraced it, right?
Yeah.
But
my brother loves to hate on Oklahoma.
I do think it's like an interesting question of do you think there's enough talent to viably put teams there so they won't be miserably, embarrassingly bad? I think if you're going to do that, I do think if you're going to do this, you better get rid of tanking entirely. I don't know how you're going to do it. And like last year should have been the instructive. So I've talked about a lot about the Wizards because I like this team a lot. They're fun. But their pick is top 8 protected. So they got to lose. They cannot fall to 9. They cannot risk doing that. Right. So they're going to have to lose. But there's that part of me that's like, if you're trying to get the franchise guy, I'm like, look at this last year, man. San Antonio, Philadelphia, Dallas. Like, why are you bothering with it? You can't, but teams are still going to continue to do that. I do think that if you do the expansion, in order to make sure that you don't have 2 expansion teams tanking as they grow talent, plus teams like the Wizards or whoever the new Wizards are, or like Charlotte, I just think you don't want to get to a spot where there's that many teams that are not trying to be competitive. I do like it because it's like, all right, only half the league makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
Instead of more than half. That would be helpful.
There's something to be said about that. I do think that it's time. I think that a divisional realignment would be good for the NBA. Right now there are 5 teams in 6 different divisions, and I've never liked it because it just doesn't make sense. I think that if they wanted to do something more with the NBA Cup, it is better with 4 teams per division, 8 divisions, kind of mirroring the NFL style. And it would make more sense for so many reasons. Or you just get rid of divisions altogether. But
let's keep talking about this on the other side, because I actually want to ask you about how we would do this if we're going to do that kind of division breakup.
I love it. Let's talk about this on the other side here on Locked On Nuggets. And we are back, Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning into the show. Okay, so let's say that the 2 teams that are going to be added to the pool are Seattle and Las Vegas. Let's also say that for the sake of this, Memphis is the team that shifts over to the Eastern Conference. You would have 16 teams in each conference. How would you want to do divisions, or would you do divisions at all?
I would do divisions. I always I like the idea of there being actually Tom Zeller had a plan many years ago to do kind of a 3 conference system that would have fed into one collective pool. I've looked at a lot of the travel data when I was looking at this. I still continue to maintain that there is a way to do this effectively for them to integrate the playoffs and do non-conference playoffs. One of the real tricks is giving the higher seed the opportunity to choose between 2-1, 2-2-1-1-1 or 2-3-2. Because
Okay.
if it's like, let's say the Celtics are matched up with the Lakers, they can choose 2-3-2 because they're like, we only want 2 flights. It's 1 flight there, 1 flight back. Right. As far as the division goes, so this would be now 4-team divisions, yes?
Yes, if you're trying to divide it 4x4. Yeah.
Okay. So California has got to be Warriors, Kings, Lakers, Clippers. It's California.
You just do a California division, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Denver then has got to take Portland.
Yep.
They're not stranded.
And Seattle.
They've got to take Seattle. So Denver, great return of that rivalry. Denver, Seattle, Portland, Phoenix.
Would you do Vegas?
Ooh, see, yeah, it's tough. Yeah, you probably have to do Vegas because that's only like that's like a 90 minutes, like an hour flight.
Mm-hmm. How would you feel about taking one of the California teams in North California, in Sacramento, and putting them in the Northwest Division instead?
You can't break up the Kings-Lakers rivalry. You can't.
What rivalry?
They have a rivalry.
Okay.
Like the Lakers don't think they have a rivalry, but Kings fans do. Much the way that Nuggets fans thought they had a rivalry with the Lakers before 2023.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now it is a thing.
Now it is a rivalry.
Okay, so I think that's fair, and I do understand why you're kind of going with that perspective. Unfortunately, it makes the travel so easy in the California division and so much more difficult in the Denver, Vegas, Portland, Seattle division. There's also Utah to consider.
You're right. So it probably actually has to be, it's got to be, you know what? They may have to move Denver out because it's going to have to be Vegas, Seattle, Portland, Utah.
Okay. So if we're going that direction and we're keeping Minnesota in the West, then you are going Denver, Minnesota, OKC probably.
Can't get rid of them. And Phoenix is the one left out, so it's going to have to be Phoenix.
It's going to have... See, that doesn't solve this either.
Tough.
To me, Minnesota has to be the team that moves, Matt.
Yeah, and then you can do... Well, here's the thing, though. Is like Memphis isn't close.
But then they can be in a Texas division.
But then you're going to have to take out one of the Texas teams to put them with Denver.
Okay. So now we're seeing some issues here.
See,
how would you feel?
I'll be honest with you. I don't really care about the travel. I don't. Like, I get it from your perspective of like, it's not fair for all those California teams to be in the division, but it depends on how you balance the schedule too. You're still going to have to they're still going to do it. As much as I hate it, they're still going to be like, you have to go out east for one game against all 15 teams, which is stupid, by the way.
Well, and because one of the reasons why I was thinking it might make sense to do divisions this way is then you can add more divisional games, and instead of you actually make it valuable that way.
They won't do it. They'll never do it because you have these owners like DeVos, whose kids just took over, who are like, no, I want LeBron to come to my stadium. Like, I want Jokic to come once a year.
I don't blame him. I get it.
I know, but it's so irritating because I'm just like, guys, make your team good. Quit trying to rely on the gate of the rest of the league. You never want to do anything to help your other owners, except when it comes to getting somebody else in your building. It's so annoying.
The other thing is that like Jokic will eventually retire. LeBron will eventually retire. These draws will eventually change. And if you're in a different situation, like you might be adding somebody or forcibly adding somebody to a place where it won't be positive anymore after like 5 years. So I don't know. That is a tough thing. How about 4 total divisions across all 32 teams, and then you do 8 teams per division?
I like that. I like that a lot better.
You might be able to go more coastal.
Yeah, because then you can do, let's say you can do Seattle, Portland, the 4 Vegas, the 4 Denver team, or the 4 LA or 4 California teams, and
Phoenix.
And that's 8. And then you can do Denver, Utah, OKC.
We'll keep Minnesota in this for this conversation.
Minnesota,
the 3 Texas teams, and New Orleans.
Yep.
That I can get behind. I can definitely get behind that. In the East, it would be a little bit, it wouldn't be as kind of like time zone-ish in the Eastern Conference. It would probably be kind of Northeast and Southeast.
Yeah, that's all you do is you just take, it would be the 5 Atlantic teams plus Washington, Ohio, and Indiana.
Cleveland. Okay.
And then you're gonna take then you're just gonna do Milwaukee to Florida.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna do.
And Memphis. Okay. You know what? Honestly, I like that better. I think that makes more sense.
This guy's apparently spent a lot of time on Ruby.
I've thought about it too. Like, and one of the things I really like to do is come up with what the actual game schedule would look like in this context. And so if you did divisions this way, you can do like 4 teams. Like, it actually wouldn't change that much with your current schedule. You do 4 division games, 3 conference games, 2 non-conference games per team. And then that's 32 games that you're getting from non-conference. That is 24 games that you're getting from conference. And then in division, you're getting 7 times 4 is 28. So that is 52. That's 84. Oh, crap.
See, this is my thing. Just get rid of do the non-cons by half. If you just take those 8 games, not 8 games, whatever it would be, right? Yeah. You're doing 16 games.
It would be 16 games.
Yeah. If you just take those 16 games and you take those off of the schedule, we are already
68 game schedule. And then you rotate those out like once every 2 years. Like you either go to that side or you come back. And that would be so much easier. Like 8 teams, 8 non-conference teams wouldn't get to see Jokic in 1 year, but they would get to see him the other time.
I'm sorry, Orlando.
Yeah.
Like the Lakers aren't coming this year.
Yeah.
Bummer. You might have to be more competitive to get people in the building. Yeah. I do not care about this where I'm like, look, the NBA should be focused on trying to get the best games possible. The things what creates the best games possible is dislike. What creates dislike is familiarity. That's why these teams go into a playoff series and they're like, I love those guys. I respect them so much. I've known them. They're great guys, such great players. We're competitors. We're excited to get at it. And by the end of it, they're like, I hope they die spiritually.
I hope his hangnail's
black hole
really bad. Really bad hangnail for the rest of his days. No, I get it. And I do think that invoking some sort of rivalry that way would make it, I think, very valuable. I do kind of like, based off of what we've talked about and how difficult it is to actually get these teams to where you would want them to go. If you have to keep California together in a 4-team division, screw that. Go to 4 divisions total with 8 teams per. Like that's just the easiest way to do it.
You hate this idea of the California teams having an advantage that much.
It's just like it's ridiculous to force Denver, Portland, Seattle, and Phoenix or Las Vegas to be in a division circling around California. Like they're circling around it.
Denver has the best home court advantage in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, and everybody knows it, which is why they've built in the travel data to begin with.
All right.
You know this. No West to East. None of them. They're gone. All right. Everybody, we ran out of time. We will talk about Elite West teams in a future episode. That is going to do it for this episode of Locked On Nuggets. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. What do you think is the best way for divisions to realign? And what did Misko Raznatovic and LeBron James discuss on the boat? Thanks for listening to this episode of Locked On Nuggets.